Hi, this is Arik and this is Philip, and we're going to be working on a goal. Philip's been having some knee or hip issues, but we're going to check it out and see what's going on. So stay tuned. So in my work, I do archetypal or astrological healing. So we use the archetypes through the science of astrology, which is based on astronomical data. And then we see how it's manifesting through the body, and my favorite vehicle to do that is with kinesiology, which is a muscle test. So basically, we use the muscles of the body, and I hold, and if there's resistance, then that means something, and if not, then it means something else. Depends on what my intention is, or what we have what's called in circuit. But these are all things that are by the way. But basically, the level that I work on is that everything begins in the mind. Everything is archetypal. If you corner doctors and you ask them, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did this happen? Or any experts, you will get to a point where they say stress, okay? But we know stress is really in our response in our mind to things. And everything after that, of course, is real. I mean, so there are problems in the body. There are different knee or hip pains or what have you. But for me, where I work is that under the understanding that everything in this world wants to manifest. So we are channels to manifest whatever we want into our lives, whether it's health or love or wealth or happiness, that everything is available to us in order for us to have it. So if there's a blockage somewhere, then we can see where is the root of that blockage and how can we clear it out so that that energy can manifest again. So I don't want to oversimplify it, but this is how I'm working. So on this archetypal level. So every part of the body, down to the cells, down to the molecular structure even, is ruled by different archetypes. And if there's a problem with, say, the knee, for example, then we know which archetype that's connected to, and I will check. Okay, so do we need to clear out any kind of degraded qualities of that archetype? Because if we have an accident or if we have some kind of issue emotionally, then these are all different blockages that need to be cleared out. So I'm really passionate about that. I love to do it, and I want to demonstrate how that works. But of course, we have to check, is that even what we need to address? Because even though the complaint is the knee, it might be somewhere else. But we have to check. That's what I love about kinesiology, is that we communicate with the subconscious, okay, and figure out what's going on. Okay, so in relation to the knee problem, so I'm going to stack in. Is this knee or this knee? Both. Okay. Both knees. Okay. So I'm just stacking in the information of the knees. Okay, and I'm going to take both arms and try to hold up. Hold. Okay, so it's holding, but I want to see if they're overworked. Okay, and hold. Yeah. So the knees are overworked because when I turned that muscle off, the test, it wasn't unlocking. So they are a little bit overstressed. So I'm just going to check the hip also just in case. Okay. Okay, and hold. Okay, and you see under-facilitated. So there's under-facilitation, which means less energy in the hips and too much energy in the knees. Very interesting, because the knees we know are ruled by Capricorn, okay? And the hips are ruled by Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius precedes Capricorn, okay, in the astrological chart. And when this part is weaker and this part is stronger, then we could say that there might be that Sagittarius is not having enough energy. It's just passing it on to Capricorn and like standing on your knees, which can create some kind of issues down the line. So now for that case, I'm going to check which kind of chart I'm going to work with Phil, because I have all of his charts printed out, ready to go. So we're working with transits. Natal. So this is a natal chart issue. Natal chart issues are things that we are born with that we bring into in this life. Because this is the moment that we took our first breath, our birthdays, like our actual days of birth. So just by looking at the chart, I can see there's a lot of energy in Capricorn, which would be here, and this is really interesting. I mean, you can't. I mean, this is just totally interesting. So we have one planet in Sagittarius, okay, and then we have 4 planets in Capricorn. So I'm going to stack that in as well. Okay. It's really interesting because the one planet in Sagittarius would be outnumbered by the many planets in Capricorn. And it's just really interesting because Capricorn is about working hard and really being ambitious and doing things. And Sagittarius is a lot about, tempering things, finding the right balance and finding the right measurement. And that's why in the hips, like where we have a lot of the balance receptors, okay? So there seems to be a connection here between the two. So I'm gonna check now and see which one's the priority. And I'm also gonna make sure that we're not hiding anything. So okay, so the knees are the priority. But see, these are things that you need to ask, because if you just assume and you jump in and you say, oh, I'm gonna work on the hips because it's under facilitated in the knee. No, so the knees, the Capricorn, we would say has over energy. The Capricorn is being used too much. So now I'm gonna check and see which planet is instigating all this. Okay. Very interesting. So it's the part of fortune, and the part of fortune is in Capricorn. So do we need more information? We do need more information, but I want to explain that the part of fortune is the part that wants change. It's where we're trying to change things. So it could be like that. In this case, Phil, that you're working really hard for a change, that you want to make a big change in your life, and you want it so much that the knees are working in overdrive. And it's also really interesting because the knees are also connected to flexibility and being able to move forward and being able to have that movement to move forward. And now because it's both knees equally, it's almost like at a standstill, because if you imagine your knees are worked over, if they're locked, it's hard to walk. I mean, you have to walk like you have stick legs. So let's see. We still need more information. Okay, so so we need more information here. So let's see. I'm going to check with the chart as an aspect. Okay, that's definitely an aspect. So let's see which aspect it is. So aspects are the different relationships that various planets make to, in this case, the part of fortune, which is the part of fortune also is another point that I heal. Maybe I'll make another video about that at some point, but it's also connected to money. And Capricorn is very much connected to money as well. So let's see. Okay. So we just did another video about sealing Philip's Chiron point, and this is about the opposition to Chiron. So these are kind of a little bit more unknown parts of astrology, but it's like the opposition of the part of fortune in Chiron is like a tug of war between keeping health, like the wounds, and wanting change and money, so that there's this pull between the two. So let's see if we need more information. No, this is enough. So now I put all this information into what's like a pot. So, or I put it like onto a thumb drive or like a file, that here we have it now, and now we can like you have to imagine like you're bowling, Now you can take it all out and you can balance the whole thing in relationship to the knees, because remember, these are the priority, which is also connected to the Sagittarius, the hips. Now, remember, this is about removing the blockages. So whatever the blockages, whatever his dreams, wishes, hopes are, we're going to help remove these blockages so that he can start to manifest them. So now, really cool, because now that we have enough information to balance the knees, now I'm going to go into the balancing process. And for there, I have like a list of different techniques that we can use to help remove this blockage. So I'm just going to go through the list in my head. Okay. I'm checking with the chart to see exactly what are the different components. Okay. And because Philip has his Chiron point sealed and we sealed it before the session, check out the other video if you want to learn more about that. And because the players here are Chiron and Capricorn. Capricorn, the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn, which is connected to the first chakra, and Chiron is another archetype. Now I have different tuning forks. Let me just grab them. The tuning fork combo is when we use two tuning forks to create a perfect matrix of balancing the over and the under energy. So let me just grab it. So the two tuning forks we're going to use are Saturn for the ruler of Capricorn and Chiron because it's making that opposition. And of course, it's here. Here we go. So these tuning forks, these are actually sound-puncture tuning forks, and they resonate at the different frequencies of the planets. They were developed by a Swiss inventor, really, who utilized the information from NASA, the different frequencies of planets, and also the different archetypes. And I just love them. I love to use them. You use them in a way that they're not making so much of spatial sound, but if you put them onto different acupoints, or what I call astro points, then they are vibrating throughout the body. So in order to know exactly what to do, because you don't want to just throw it on the knee, that's not the right thing. So I put them here, now I check, and I'm going to figure out where these points need to go. So okay. So let's see here. So I usually start off by just putting them on the bed. I don't know if the mic's gonna pick them up. So sound frequencies are able to remove a lot of blockages. I always like to think of Venom from Spider-Man. I mean, I love the movie, but typically like these kind of parasitic energies, whether etheric or energy or actual, they don't like sound vibration because it's a higher frequency than what they're used to. And you can just feel the vibration in the aura as well. So because I know that that Philip's Chiron point is in the, on his head, I'm not going to actually put the fork on his head. I'm just going to put it close to his ear, and then the Saturn point I'm actually going to put on a Gemini point of the body, which is connected to the lung meridian. So the theory is that everything is connected. I always tell all my clients, don't worry about work if you're working in one area. It's going to help another area because you don't know where the dam is really being held up. Is that okay, Philip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, super. Nice. Time. So this is resonating throughout the whole body. And remember, we're only removing the blockage for the knees right now. Again, it's that Capricorn energy, working hard. It's also connected to illusions, and with the point of fortune there, a lot of times, or the part of fortune, I'm sorry, a lot of times we can feel like we're just working up and up and up that hill, and that nothing is really changing. And if we have that mindset, then that's probably what we're going to manifest. So we can help to adjust this false view, and that we can actually make some changes. So this is really what I'm passionate about in my work. Okay. Still going. I mean, they go for a really long time. Okay. Elevation. Okay, and hold. Okay, not quite. Okay, once a little bit more of the tuning forks. So depending on the size of the blockage, it could be that you need to do it more until you get that lock in the test. Capricorn, also Saturn is karmic energy. It's energy that we have that we brought with, and that lessons that we need to learn. Now the beautiful thing is about Saturn is that once we learn the lessons, then we get the gifts. And the same thing with Chiron. Once we heal the wound, then we get the healing, and then we're supposed to share it with others, which is really cool if you think about it. So again, remember, we're just kind of reducing some of that over Capricorn energy here. Okay, so relation to the knees. And hold up. Better. Not entirely there yet, but we're getting there. So let me just see. Okay, so the knees, any more? And I'm just, frequently I just check throughout the balancing. Okay, so health is good?
Health is good.
Good. And that's a clear lock. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see what else we need. Okay. So a mantra is needed. So are we doing? Okay. So actually I have this really cool book of mantras. Let me see. That we need to use in conjunction with the tuning forks. It wasn't showing up before when we did the test. However, it could be that sometimes you need to go through different layers, because if you go through too many, it creates a stress. if you just blast through things too quickly, it creates a big stress. So, because this is connected to the, let's see, the moon meridian and the Gemini. Okay. So the oscillating emotions that are coming up are envious and greedy. So this can be a total Capricorn issue, looking at others and comparing themselves to others, like comparing that archetypal energy with others as well. And let me see. So I'm just going to figure out. Awesome. This is like last stage. Like you're really ready to let this pattern go. So let's see here. Pattern is just another way of saying blockages sometimes. Okay. Now I'm going to say the mantra. This is our amazing, I don't know exactly who did this. I got these from in Australia. Let's see, but I use them with my planetary meridians, so. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly, and supportively dissolve my finding fault with others into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly, and supportively accept the differences of others, look for their goodness, and create an environment of trust and well-being. Yeah, and also because I can feel energies. I mean, you really don't need to feel energies to do this work, but because I do feel them, I can feel a big shift, a big release. Like this is a big blockage that's being released here. Anytime you're working with Saturn or Capricorn, you better get prepared for big blockages. Okay, so. Let's see, anything else? Relation to the knees. Can't hold them nice and strong. Oh yeah, this is big. I just want to check again. Hold. Perfect. And one more time. Okay. Good. So we got that going. Now let me just check. Sometimes I just want to check with the hips. And actually now the hips. Let's see. Let's just stack that in. Hold. It's holding now. So you saw the before and hold. Yeah, good. And one more time. Yeah, no chance. Okay, so the over energy here of the Capricorn knees released some of the energy that it could give back to the Sagittarius, which is really interesting because when you have that energy of greediness, then it's not really sharing the wealth with others. So this was happening within the body. It's not about others because if you perceive it, if you're perceiving it with other people, chances are you're doing it within yourself. So that's just a kind of fairly quick demo of astrological healing, and I always end it by saying, health is good.
Health is good.
Okay, hold. Good. Perfect. So that's pretty much it. Let me see. I like to end that to really make sure that this new program is staying in the body. So this is a new program for this body. The old program for this body is no longer needed now in the future. This is a new program for this body. The old program for this body is no longer needed now in the future. Hold. Good. Okay, we're finished, and thank you for watching. See you next time.